Have you ever woken up from a late afternoon workout with a heavy head, a racing heart, and trouble sleeping at night? Then the next morning, you feel weak on one side of your body, have trouble speaking, or even can't control your arms or legs. If you're over 60, be really careful. As a neurologist and stroke researcher for over 25 years, I used to think that all exercise was good, until I started noticing something strange. Many of my patients were having strokes just hours after doing a specific type of exercise, an exercise that most of us believe is great for the heart. I was shocked when the evidence started piling up. So what was that exercise? Before I reveal it, let me picture this scenario. John, 67, lives in Ohio and is a health-conscious man. Every evening after dinner, he puts on his gym clothes and goes for a 30-minute run around the block. He believes that running at night helps with digestion and keeps his heart healthy. But one night, after running, he felt lightheaded, broke out in a cold sweat, and collapsed on the living room floor. John had suffered an ischemic stroke just hours after his usual evening run. John is not alone. In the past 2 years, I have seen at least 19 patients over the age of 60 who have the same pattern, exercising in the evening, usually running or cycling, and having a stroke a few hours later. What do you think? What's really happening in your body after an evening workout? A study published in the journal Neurology and Stroke in 2021 found that older adults who exercised intensely after 6 p.m. had a 38% higher risk of stroke than those who exercised in the morning or afternoon. Why? Because as you age, your blood vessels and nervous system are no longer able to regulate themselves as quickly as before. High-intensity exercise late in the day can cause a sudden increase in blood pressure, especially if you don't warm up properly, an electrolyte imbalance after sweating a lot, a mild arrhythmia that can turn into atrial fibrillation, the leading cause of stroke due to a blockage in the blood vessels in the brain. Have you ever felt your heart beating abnormally fast after exercising at night? Leave a comment to share, because you may not be the only one. A common misconception is, as long as you exercise, any time is fine. This is a mistake I made when I first graduated from medical school. But now, with hundreds of patients I have treated, I can confirm the time of exercise has a significant impact on the central nervous system and the risk of stroke in the elderly. At night, your body is in the adjustment phase to switch to a resting state. Heavy exercise at this time causes the sympathetic nervous system, which needs to rest, to be strongly stimulated. The consequences are lack of deep sleep, reduced blood vessel recovery hormones, such as melatonin and GH, rapid heartbeat throughout the night, increasing the risk of unstable blood pressure. The brain is not properly restored, causing microvascular damage leading to stroke. So which exercise is the main culprit? The answer is high-intensity cardio in the evening, typically jogging, fast running after 6:30 p.m., late-night outdoor cycling. HIIT, high-intensity interval training after dinner. Aerobic dance exercises burn calories in the evening. Many fitness centers offer HIIT and Zumba classes after 7 p.m., advertising that evening exercise helps burn calories faster. But they do not mention that for people over 60, this can be a disaster for the blood vessels in the brain. You should stop immediately if after your workout you experience headache, blurred vision, slight shaking or stiffness in your hands and feet, difficulty sleeping, heart palpitations at night, loss of balance, dizziness when standing up from a sitting position. This is not a sign that you are exercising effectively, but an early warning that the central nervous system is under pressure. Stop and listen to your body. The next part will go into more detail. Why do some people still have stroke even though their blood pressure and cholesterol are completely normal? Have you ever heard a story like this? A 65-year-old man had a routine health check, stable blood pressure, regular heart rate, low blood lipids. The doctor said he was completely healthy. But just a few weeks later, he had a stroke while sleeping. No warning signs, no pain. Just the next morning he couldn't move his left side. This is not an isolated case. I once had a patient, Mrs. Helen, 72 years old, walked 3 to 4 times a week, did not smoke, did not have diabetes. But one night after attending an evening dance class at the community center, she came home, complaining of fatigue, and the next morning, her daughter discovered that she was paralyzed on one side of her body. Why does this happen, even when biological indicators are within safe limits? The answer lies in a factor that few people pay attention to: the elasticity of the brain as blood vessels and the time of exercise. The brain needs more than just blood. It needs a steady flow of blood at the right time. The older you get, the more vulnerable your brain's blood vessels become. A study published in the Stroke Journal in 2022 found that, after age 60, the capillary system in the brain begins to show signs of microsclerosis, even if the person does not have high blood pressure. This means that, even if your blood pressure appears normal on the monitor, if the blood vessels in the brain are weak, even a slight increase in blood pressure after intense exercise in the evening can lead to rupture leakage or blockage. The result: a stroke occurs while you are sleeping, because at that time, the brain is no longer able to regulate blood flow. What do you think about this? Are we too subjective when we only check blood pressure and cholesterol, but forget about the health of the brain as microvasculature? The human body operates according to a biological clock called the circadian rhythm. At night, especially from 9 p.m. to 3 a.m., the parasympathetic nervous system will work strongly to reduce heart rate, dilate blood vessels, detoxify nerve cells, regenerate neurotransmitters such as serotonin, dopamine. If you exercise too close to bedtime, after 6:30 p.m. or 7 p.m., you are forcing the sympathetic nervous system to work strongly when the body needs to rest. The consequences are: heart rate does not decrease, making it difficult to sleep deeply. Stress hormones, cortisol, increase at night, preventing the brain from recovering. Unstable blood flow to the brain puts pressure on the brain's blood vessels throughout the night. The consequence is stroke occurs around 4 to 6 a.m. when blood pressure and brain vessels are at their lowest. Have you ever woken up at 4 to 5 a.m. with a headache or neck discomfort? This could be an early sign of a brain vascular disorder after exercising at the wrong time the night before. There are 2 types of strokes that are often directly related to evening exercise in people over 60. 1. Transient ischemic attack, TIA. Symptoms: temporary weakness on one side of the body, slight slurred speech, blurred vision for a few minutes. Often occurs after HIIT or cardio exercise late at night. Often overlooked because the symptoms go away on their own. Danger: 1 in 3 people with TIA will have a real stroke within 1 year if they do not change their lifestyle. 2. Minor hemorrhagic stroke. Due to microscopic rupture of small blood vessels in the brain when blood pressure increases after exercise. Not immediately fatal, but causes early dementia, memory loss, and balance problems. Have you ever seen someone fall for no apparent reason early in the morning? They may have had a small stroke while sleeping. 3 ways to check if you are at risk of a silent stroke. Do you feel a slight headache or neck pain after exercising at night? It could be a sign of disturbed blood flow to the brain. Do you wake up feeling lethargic and disoriented for the first few minutes of the day? Your brain may have suffered microvascular damage while you sleep. Have you ever felt numbness in your arms or legs on the left or right side for no apparent reason? This could be a symptom of a mild TIA. If you have experienced one of the above 3 signs in the past 3 months, talk to a neurologist immediately. So is exercising at night always bad? Not necessarily. The problem is not whether to exercise or not, but when to exercise? What kind of exercise? How long? After I share with my patients the potential dangers of high-intensity exercise in the evening, most of their first reaction is, "So you want me to stop exercising altogether?" I say, no. Exercise is still an extremely important part of reducing your risk of stroke, but it has to be done at the right time, in the right way, and at the right intensity. If you are 60 or older, you need to know this. What is appropriate for a 30-year-old can be dangerous for a 65-year-old if done at the wrong time. When is the best time to exercise to reduce your risk of stroke? Recent studies from Harvard University and the American Institute of Sleep Medicine show that exercising in the morning has the effect of lowering daytime blood pressure, increasing blood circulation to the brain, supporting hormone regulation, and improving the quality of sleep at night. In contrast, people who exercise after 6 p.m. have a 42% higher risk of increased heart rate while sleeping, according to research from the Journal of Clinical Sleep Medicine in 2021. Why does exercising in the morning help reduce stroke? Your body is gently activated. The sympathetic nervous system is properly awakened. Blood pressure increases slightly just when you need energy for the new day. More blood goes to the brain, helping to improve cognition, memory, and concentration. Exercising in the morning helps the evening sleep hormone to be secreted at the right time, helping to sleep deeper and recover the brain better. What time of day do you usually exercise? Do you see a difference when exercising in the morning? Leave a comment to share. Exercises recommended by doctors for people aged 60 and over. 1. Light walking or brisk walking. Brisk walking, morning. Duration, 20 to 30 minutes each time. Target heart rate, 50 to 60% of maximum heart rate, i.e., you can still talk while walking. Benefits: increases blood flow to the brain, supports cardiopulmonary function without causing sudden spikes in blood pressure, stimulates the production of BDNF, a brain nutrient. 2. Balance and flexibility exercises, Tai Chi, light yoga, noon or early afternoon. Duration, 20 minutes. Focus on slow movements, regulated breathing. Benefits: improves cerebellum function, the part that controls balance. Reduces the risk of falls, one of the causes of traumatic stroke. Reduces stress, helps stabilize blood pressure naturally. 3. Light cycling or stationary cycling before 5 p.m. Do not cycle too fast or climb hills at night. Only maintain at a moderate level. Benefits: stimulates blood circulation in the lower limbs. Supports blood returning to the heart and brain better, avoiding blood accumulation in the veins. Types of exercise you should avoid after the age of 60, especially after 6 p.m. 1. HIIT, high-intensity interval training exercise. Although good for young people, it causes strong blood pressure fluctuations, easily causing transient cerebral ischemia. 2. High-speed running or marathon in the evening. Causes excessive adrenaline surge, making the heart beat strongly when going to bed. Easily leads to heart rhythm disturbances, brain hypoxia at night. 3. Heavy gym training, heavy squats, deadlifts, leg presses after dinner. Increases intracranial pressure, which is a potential stroke risk for people with weak blood vessels. What if you can't exercise during the day? Is there a safe way to exercise lightly at night? The good news is, yes. If your schedule requires you to exercise after 6 p.m., you can still do gentle and safe exercises, such as indoor walking after dinner for 60 minutes. Slow pace, do not go out in cold or windy weather. Combine simple stretching movements. Deep breathing exercises combined with stretching before bed. 4-7-8. Breathing. Inhale for 4 seconds, hold for 7 seconds, exhale for 8 seconds. Helps reduce heart rate. Relax blood vessels. Full body stretch on a mat, soft light. Focus on the muscle groups of the neck, shoulders, back and legs. Helps the brain reduce the warning level, making it easier to fall into a deep sleep. Exercises that seem to be good for the old are having thousands of people hospitalized with stroke. If you are over 60, you may have heard this advice from your doctor, fitness trainer, or friends. Regularly doing Tai Chi, leaning, bending deeply, or rotating your neck will help blood circulation and prevent stroke. But the truth is, if done incorrectly or at the wrong time, these movements can damage blood vessels in the brain, especially in people who already have cervical spondylosis, atherosclerosis, or fluctuating blood pressure. As a neurologist, I have seen dozens of stroke patients because of seemingly simple movements. And the most common exercise that causes the most complications in my group of patients is neck hyperextension and rotation. Why? The neck contains the vertebral arteries, which carry blood to the back of the brain, including the brainstem, and cerebellum, the areas that control life, breathing, consciousness, balance. When you rotate your neck quickly, bend or lean back too much, especially when the muscles have degenerated or there is atherosclerosis, you accidentally bend or twist the vertebral artery slightly, create sudden pressure on the blood vessels in the brain, cause micro tears in the lining of the blood vessels, leading to the formation of blood clots. This can cause a posterior embolic stroke, which accounts for about 20 to 25% of strokes, but has a higher mortality and sequelae. A typical case: a neck rotation leads to a stroke after only 2 hours. The case of Mr. Michael, 70 years old, living in California. He often attends a yoga class for seniors at the community center every Wednesday. During that session, he rotated his neck and looked behind his shoulder 10 times on each side. A few hours later, he felt dizzy, his lips were numb, and he could not speak clearly. His family thought he had low blood pressure, but when he went to the hospital, the doctor diagnosed him with a stroke due to a blockage in the left vertebral artery. The reason? The artery was compressed when turning his neck, creating conditions for a piece of atherosclerosis to rupture and block blood flow to the brain. And these are the types of exercises that can easily cause cerebral vascular compression if not careful. Deep bending movements, toe touch or downward dog, increase pressure in the head, easily causing small blood vessels to rupture if you have high blood pressure. Sitting in the wrong neck posture for a long time. When the neck is bent forward too much, blood to the brain is reduced, making it easy to lose balance when standing up. Back exercises on a strong vibrating massage chair or manual neck stretching. Many people believe it is a good stretch, but if overused, it can damage the cervical vertebrae and nearby blood vessels. Overly prolonged plank movements cause tension in the neck and shoulders. This leads to tension in the carotid arteries and causes the brain to lack oxygen when the heart needs to pump hard. In many cases, the body still sends warning signals 1 to 3 days before a stroke occurs, but older people often ignore them because they think it is a symptom of old age. Pay attention if you see the following signs: sudden dizziness when turning the neck or standing up quickly, numbness of the face or one arm that lasts for a few minutes and then goes away on its own, mild slurred speech, simple mistakes in writing, blurred vision, dizziness for a few seconds when changing positions, feeling of unsteadiness in the legs, even if there is no pain. If you have ever experienced one of these 5 signs, even just once, see a neurologist to check the blood vessels in the brain with a Doppler ultrasound or brain MRI. So what should people over 60 do to maintain the benefits of exercise without increasing the risk of stroke? Here are the 3 right, 3 avoid principles that I recommend to my elderly patients. The 3 right principles include right timing, exercise in the morning before 11 a.m. or early afternoon. Avoid after 6 p.m. Right movements. Prioritize gentle, non-sudden exercises, walking, stretching, flexing arms and legs, balancing. Right limits. Exercise within the safe heart zone. Heart rate does not exceed 60 to 65% of maximum. Do not pant excessively. The 3 avoid principles are: avoid neck rotation, neck extension, deep bending movements that are prolonged or sudden, especially if you have had cervical spondylosis or unstable blood pressure. Avoid exercising when hungry or right after a full meal, because blood will be distributed incorrectly, causing ischemia to the brain. Avoid exercising when the weather is too cold, windy, or when you are tired or sleep deprived, because the blood vessels will contract abnormally, increasing the risk of rupture or blockage. The final message from the doctor: don't try to exercise too much. Exercise smartly and regularly. At age 60 plus, you don't need to run fast, lift heavy weights, or do difficult yoga moves like you did in your 30s. You need to exercise moderately, at the right time, in the right way to keep blood flowing to the brain regularly. Reduce atherosclerosis. Increase the production of recovery hormones. Help the brain stay young, the body flexible, and avoid silent strokes. What exercises are safe for the brain and heart after 60 years old? Now that we know which exercises to avoid a sudden stroke overnight, the biggest question now is, so after the age of 60, what exercises should we do to keep our blood vessels, brain, and heart safe? Here are some exercise options recommended by neurologists, cardiologists, and geriatricians, not only to avoid the risk of stroke, but also to help improve memory, maintain balance, and restore motor function. 1. Moderate intensity steady-state exercise. According to the American Stroke Association, people over 60 should prioritize exercises that increase their heart rate mildly to moderately, lasting from 20 to 45 minutes, regularly every day. Exercises such as brisk walking around the park or indoors, slow cycling on a treadmill or outdoors, gentle swimming, especially backstroke or breaststroke, aerobic exercise to music with simple movements, no jumping. These forms of exercise do not cause sudden increase in blood pressure, do not cause acute cerebral vasoconstriction, and help increase blood circulation to the brain, which is very important for stroke prevention. 2. Practice to improve balance and coordination. One of the reasons why older people are susceptible to stroke when practicing incorrectly is because of loss of balance, falling, and sudden increase in pressure on the heart and brain. Exercises to improve balance include Tai Chi, proven in many clinical studies to help reduce the risk of falling, increase muscle control, and improve blood flow to the brain. Light yoga for the elderly. Avoid inverted postures such as handstands, but still maintain joint opening movements. Deep breathing helps stabilize blood pressure and improve parasympathetic nerves. Practice standing on one leg for 30 seconds at a time. Can hold on to a chair. Improves body control very clearly. Have you ever tried standing on one leg? Can you hold it for more than 30 seconds? Comment to share. 3. Practice breathing and heart rate coordination. Many neurologists recommend that older people practice exercises that help synchronize breathing and heart rate, because this helps stabilize blood flow to the brain, calm the central nervous system, and reduce the risk of vasospasm. A very simple exercise is: practice breathing deeply for 4 seconds, holding for 4 seconds, exhaling for 6 seconds. Do it regularly for 10 to 15 minutes every morning and every evening. Combine it with slow walking or meditation. Scientists at Harvard University have discovered that people over 60 years old who practice breathing regularly every day for 8 weeks will reduce the risk of nocturnal blood pressure spikes by 24%, a key factor leading to stroke during sleep. 4. Practice stretching and lengthening blood vessels. A little-known reason is that the brain and cardiovascular system also need to stretch like the limbs. If you exercise without stretching, the blood vessels can easily become tense, which is a dangerous mechanism that causes vascular spasm. Suggestions. The first 5 minutes of each exercise session. Warm up by rotating joints, wrists, and ankles. The last 5 to 7 minutes of each exercise session. Stretch the thigh, calf, neck, and shoulder muscle groups. Use a towel to stretch both arms behind your back. Hold for 10 seconds, then switch sides, helping to open the chest and reduce pressure on the neck and nape. 5. Exercise gradually, not suddenly. The golden rule for people over 60. Don't exercise on impulse. Today you feel good. You run for 30 minutes. Tomorrow you're tired. You stop. That shocks the body continuously, especially the blood vessels. Instead start at a low level. Walk 10 minutes a day for the first week. Next week, increase to 15 minutes, then 20 minutes. After 3 to 4 weeks, when you get used to the rhythm, add endurance exercises. Your body will react very positively when you get used to it slowly, and your brain will not be shocked by pressure, which is common in older people who start exercising incorrectly. If you find this video useful, don't forget to share it with your friends. And relatives over 60 years old, especially those who are exercising every day, but don't know this clearly. See you in the next videos, where old age health is no longer a mystery, but a proactive, strong, and worth living journey.